It's okay to do that. So guys, thanks for jumping on. We're doing this every Tuesday morning, 9 a.m. Mountain Time, where I'm at here in Colorado. And appreciate you guys getting on. Of course, every Thursday, just a reminder, we got agent attraction training. Eric Golden always heads that up. It's a different Zoom ID. We're going to be working on kind of getting all this into one uniform thing. That's all in progress here. We're getting the Freedom Team page and workplace set up. Kim's helping us a ton there with that. Appreciate everything she's working on, and Eric and Tim especially are kind of spearheading all that. So you'll see some big things moving here in the next few weeks, especially. But anyway, these trainings have been awesome. We started these back in November, just about every Tuesday outside of the holidays, and just been really good content, every week. So Shaune Corbett is going to be teaching today. Shaune's been in real estate quite a long time, 3-time icon, on track to do 37 million this year. Shaune, you said? I think that's the goal.
No, that was last year.
That was last year. Okay.
I'm already on pace probably to do 40 to 45 this year.
There you go. So big producer. And one of the things, when it came up like, hey, Shaune, icon, like, what do you, can you come in and train? What would you want to train on? And talked about open houses. So how to maximize those, how to take those to a whole nother level and not just sit there at somebody's house for 3 hours on a Saturday because you just got to keep the seller happy, and walk away with nothing. How can you take that and turn that into more business, and really maximize it, maximize the use of that time. And so anyway, Shaune's got some different things that he's done, and going to be able to share that. There'll be a lot of good content here. So I don't know. I got my paper and pen ready. Shaune, it's all yours, man. I appreciate doing it. Thank you. Go ahead, buddy.
Right. Yeah, you bet. Thanks, Jeff. I've been in real estate since probably about 2005. I owned a brokerage. I did that for a little over 10 years. I ran probably anywhere from 8 to 10 agents in my agency. It's always been here in Dallas-Fort Worth. I left that, actually met Eric Golden in person. He is a real person. Most of you probably only know him at Zoom. But he used to live here part-time, and then of course lived in Florida, and he goes back and forth. But I met him in person, and we discussed what would it look like changing from an independent brokerage to coming over to what EXP had to offer. I was offered EXP actually a year before, and the person that brought it to me didn't have any credibility with me, so I just didn't take them serious. Eric comes with quite a bit of credibility, so I listened. And I made the move. I did about 8-10 million a year, I think, as an independent broker, my own volume. And then I moved up to 17 million my first year with EXP. And then I did 32 million. And then last year, 2021, I did 37.5 million. I'm already on pace again. I'm shooting for 50. And it's not necessarily about moving more property or working harder. I want to sell more houses and work the same or less. That's a whole different conversation. So, I do my own training. I have my own group. Actually, right after this, I do the True West Realty Group. That's my brokerage name that I transferred. I just call it a group now. And we talk about how to create opportunities at little to no cost and increase your efficiency, right? If we can sell more houses and put less effort into it, it can be done. I know it can. I'm working the same amount of hours and time that I did selling 17 million that I did 37 last year. So today's topic's open houses. This is one that I created for my own brokerage years ago. I kind of really sat down, thought through it, and said, what would make sense, and how do I get the most out of open houses without just, spending a bunch of money, right? Because we can pour money into things and create our own success. I thought about how do we do that without spending a bunch of money to do it. So I'm going to cover a few reasons why I even discuss open houses. And then we'll kind of start diving into just some things to be thinking about when you do it. There's going to be a number of specific things you're going to want to take and remember, because it will increase your effectiveness at doing open houses. I mean, it could be just simple things like the time you do it, to how do you promote it, to what are you doing when you're there. I mean, all these things that are all part of open houses. It's beyond just scheduling a time block because you had an open couple hours on a Saturday. We can actually be proactive and get a lot more out of it. One of the number one reasons why I even talk about it is I've had personal success doing it. I'm not an agent that gets out and does a lot of showings and listing presentations because I'm 100% referral. And I tell you, if you can do anything, get to 100% referral. That's a whole nother conversation too. That's what I've been coaching my agents. Our whole goal is to get out of, the lead cycle. Let's get into the referral cycle, because you get to write your own schedule. You get to work when you want to work. You get to work with who you want to work with. But come back to open houses. So I have had quite a bit of success when I did them. And then I also have agents that I coach on open houses, and they also have great success. If you have an open pipeline, this is a value add proposition to create additional people in your pipeline that cost you almost nothing. I mean, why wouldn't you do that if you do not have a competing pipeline of showings of buyers? Then do open houses. I mean, it's a activity for real estate. No, little to no cost. You really shouldn't have to spend much. I have some tips on, if you do spend, where to put it and how to make some money on it. It's not a lot of money, but it's enough to get that additional traction for you. It's doable. You can have no experience in real estate, work with maybe a mentor, someone just to show you how to schedule, do some of the basics, and then go sit at a house and the buyers come to you, right? I mean, it's incredible. These are opportunities for you to have real estate conversations. And it's duplicatable. As you grow, if your pipeline allows you to be able to do open houses, do them, and teach others how to do them. Have them come with you, shadow you. It's duplicatable. It's an easy thing for you to help coach and teach others. I'm going to cover, why do we even do them? That's a really important thing to discuss. How do I even find an open house, right? If you don't work in a group that's providing you either leads or opportunities to work on their open houses, you're going to have to go outside your group to find them. I'll talk to you a little bit about how to do that. When do I schedule them? People don't think about this. They think it's always 12 to 2 on Saturday. I'm going to give you a little bit more thinking on when you don't want to schedule it and the best time to schedule it. I'm going to give you some really good tips there. 1 to 3 days prior, 30 minutes before, and then what we do during the open house, and then our follow-up after the open house is done. Why do we do them? Well, if I told you I'm going to start giving you Zillow leads for free, and you meet them in person, you would probably jump on that. That's what open houses are essentially, right? Zillow leads are not 100%. They're 1 in 10, 1 in 12. You get 12 people through your open house, then you're going to have a high probability of having someone. But not only do you have someone, you had someone you actually met. Zillow is all over the phone, so your chances of conversion is incredibly high when you actually meet someone in person. That's probably one of the main reasons why you'd even want to do them. It creates opportunities to have real estate conversations. For a lot of you that are newer and you haven't had a whole lot of real estate conversations, this is a great chance for someone to engage you specifically about real estate in that house that's listed. I can't underestimate that. I tell you, and I know you've probably heard this, but for some of you newer agents, you may not know this, but open houses generally aren't for sellers, although we might convince sellers to do them because it does create the opportunity for conversations about their house and the network of people getting connections. I coach my sellers into thinking about traffic, right? It creates instant value add people in the home traffic. Will you sell a home at an open house? I'd give you a 95% chance that you're not going to sell to a buyer coming to an open house. And that's me. I mean, I close 3 houses a week, and I have a lot of experience on open houses. I have my agents all, jumping on the open houses I post. I can't keep houses because they sell so fast. So I generally only get about 1 house a week that gets posted, but they normally get the open houses. If I got Manny on, I saw him on earlier. He's done some of my open houses. He keeps writing contracts off of it. They will not buy that home. That's okay, but it creates a real estate conversation. That's what we want. We want you to get experience to be comfortable with doing that and having the ability to be able to have those conversations. Learn how to separate buying now and sometime later buyers, right? You got the ones that are motivated. I always start with motivation on anything that I do. Why do you want to sell your house? Why do you want to buy a house? When you start there, you can actually solve the problem that they're giving you. The problem is they want to buy a home, and I'm in a very competitive market with multiple offers. So we're going to be able to be that person to do that, and being able to separate the ones that are ready soon and the ones that are need to be in a drip campaign or some type of contact. That's a really good skill to be able to start picking up and learning. And you can be on drip campaigns with people that were already coming in. I have an agent, and I'll talk to you a little bit about that later. We're going to talk about a little bit of the rebuttals when they start putting some of that up. Other agents appreciate you doing open houses for their clients. They don't want to do them. I'm not going to do an open house. I mean, I'm not going to go sit on a house right now because I've got 3 closings a week and I don't have to show a house. But I have open houses, and I appreciate that my agents are willing to do it because my sellers are like, wow, look at all this promotion you're doing. So it's a good way to start building good rapport with other agents, and it makes us look good. Open houses attract a lot of maybe buyers, which may not otherwise come by, right? So they may not you never even see them. It at least creates maybe buyers, and it also creates all the neighbors, right? If you've ever done an open house, I feel like half the people coming are neighbors. I mean, that's the reality. That's okay. There are opportunities, and it's a good place just to having real estate conversations with people. Maybe they're not looking to buy. You need to be doing open houses as long as it doesn't interfere with your showing schedule of active qualified buyers making offers. I had an agent join me about 3 years ago, and she went heads first into open houses, filled her pipeline, and then she came back and said, I can't do them anymore because all Saturday and Sunday I am showing houses. I said, well, that's a good alternative option. I would rather be showing to qualified buyers than do open houses, but open houses led her to filling her pipeline. That would be a good exception, maybe why you wouldn't want to do them. But beyond that, fill it up. So how do I find an open house? I was going to show you a little bit of the way to be thinking. I know you guys all have different MLSs. Can I get a thumbs up? You can see my screen. So this is our Netris system. This is MLS for Dallas-Fort Worth that we use. So the thing, you guys should have kind of an area and price range and maybe a particular type of buyer you're looking for that you would connect well with, or an area that that consistently closing in this proximity, I can become very proficient and give quality service and to be able to resolve and answer questions immediately because I'm very familiar. Those are good places to really be thinking about and starting. So in our MLS, I'm going to do this. This is something you're going to have to do on your own. So we're going to go and look for office, right? I need to find, I think I just typed in EXP. Okay, there's actually a broker license number that I use. I'll do it this way. This is one of these listings that I just posted for MLS. So we got Rick Carr, office supervisor, EXP. There it is. So ours is this little number right here. That's our listing office ID number. Okay, so find it within your town or city or whatever. Find what that office number is, and then you go under your search, and then you can create this field. On our MLS, you actually have to add these fields. So I added the field for selling office MLS ID. Okay, let's try listing office ID. There we go. List office MLS ID. So this will pull everyone that is a EXP agent that has, and I'm starting with EXP, by the way. It's just a little easier. I'll give you some reasons why we might look at doing EXP first, but let's start with just EXP agents to start. Then we go to results. Actually, I like to do my map, right? So this is the way I think. So you guys are in a region, you say, well, I really like, for example, let's say I like Keller. Keller's right here. I got a listing there. I've got one over here that's $499. I think that's Fort Worth. It might be Keller ISC. And then I'll zoom in a little bit closer. And then you got one over here in Colleyville. But this one right here in Keller is $585. Okay. That's one listing that I could immediately call and check on. It's in an area I like. I know the homes are in a good price range. I know that we'll get quality buyers. And then I would want to reach out to Aaron. How about that, right? Aaron Ken's on our team. He sells a lot of real estate. He's actually one of the guys I interviewed whenever I came over to EXP. It's kind of funny. But he is definitely a big time Keller listing agent. So I would reach out to Aaron, and then I'll give you a script in just a moment. on, hey, you've got this house available. I'm interested in doing an open house to help you promote it, right? That's a good way to build rapport, a relationship with a producing agent. I think he's a 4-time icon now. So that's a great way to find a home that's EXP. You guys follow that. We need to first search by the ID, everything on the map right here. And I can go to any kind of area in Dallas-Fort Worth. These are all EXP listed houses. Okay. That's the way we can find them. And I gave a few reasons why we'd want to start with them. Generally, they're more willing to work with you. Whenever I call an EXP agent or they call me, there's generally kind of a little bit more, hey, I'm with EXP also. It's just a little easier to have that conversation. They're not a competitor. They're more of they can tend to be a little bit more collaborative. So that's helpful. And they're allowed to give you the opportunity. I don't know if you guys have ever tried to call outside brokerages. A lot of them have their own interior rules and stuff. No outside brokers can work our open houses. I've got a few brokerages here that have those rules. EXP doesn't because we're all in the same brokerage. So it's up to the individual agent, which is great. Almost everything about EXP is about you making the call. So I love that about EXP. And then we have a chance to sell our own inventory, right? I mean, we're trying to raise the stock price. I bring a buyer, they have a seller. We make the deal. We get, one transaction knocks out 2 deals for EXP, which is also good. So I'm going to give you the instructions on this. Search office ID, pull all listings, and then drill down to specific areas. Workplace is also a real good place to go. Workplace in your town or area, they list. Sometimes they'll post, we need open house help. That's also a really good place to go for EXP. They'll get in there and post them. I've done that early on when I didn't have enough agents and I had a lot of listings. I would start popping them in there. And man, I'm telling you, every time I pop one in there, I'd have 2 or 3 agents jump on it. So I don't have to do that anymore, but workplace is a really good source for finding EXP agents. In the event there are no EXP listings and you just want, let's say I want to do Carrollton, right? And there's nothing in here. I don't have any listings at EXP. I have, but I like Carrollton because the price range is pretty good. They sell really fast. And they're just easier to be able to work areas that So I'm going to go a little bit into scripts. Eric, if you're on, you can kind of think through this. Eric is the king of scripts, right? He does scripts for almost everything. And it's really for the ability to make something duplicative, right? If I can give you some language and things to get you into the comfort of having those conversations, then it makes it so that you can do this ongoing. So the script would be something like, it's always better, and this is him kind of talking through, it's always better if you can connect with a listing agent. They don't have to be at EXP, just modify the script. So we're going to try to always connect with the person that has the actual listing. That's always going to be a starting point. Hello, agent. This is Eric Golden with EXP. How are you doing? And the objective is just have some type of open, friendly introduction. Just make some type of easy connection. Hey, you got that great listing over in Carrollton. I think it looks amazing. I live pretty close. I'm interested in actually stopping by and taking a look. I've got some buyers that are interested in that area. So that's a good way to kind of start into it. I always like to do a by the way. I'm going to go through his way, but the by the way would be have a introduction about the house, give them some comments or compliments, and then, oh, by the way, are you open to other agents do open houses for you and help promote the listing? That's a great way to kind of walk into it. So as his script goes, I'm relatively new here at EXP, looking at local inventory from other EXP agents and happen to notice the house you have on Collier Street. I was wondering if you have it under contract yet. Do you have any open houses set up for it? Great, easy, conversational option, just to engage and open into it. Another script, hey, agent name. I love doing open houses. I'm happy to coordinate one if you are open to it. It may find you a buyer, but it will definitely add more interest in the home. And give me some more exposure to those who are out there looking. I'm happy to do Collier or anything else that would help. What do you think? Again, just conversational style. Have that informal. You've got a good home. I'd like to be able to do the open house and promote it. No cost to you. I take care of everything, right? I want it to be hands-off. I have agents that reach out to me all the time that are not in my group. And, I like it when they come in and they say, hey, we're going to take care of everything. We're going to promote it, property boost, whatever they're going to do. And then we're going to put out the signs. We're going to do it. All I need to know is when do they want to do it? and then they let me know. My admin puts it into MLS. We get it set up, and bam. So it's a pretty. I like making it turnkey and easy for me as a listing agent. So anything and everything you can do to say, hey, I'll take care of everything is definitely a big plus. Non-specific house, I'm relatively new here at EXP, looking at local inventory from EXP agents to see if I can help boost some exposure on any of your listings by doing a professional open house. It may find you a buyer, but it will definitely add more interest and give me some more exposure to those who are out there looking. I know how to run one and will coordinate everything if you happen to have any. Do you have any opportunities for me to help on one or a few? Eric, you got any comments?
No, you said it right. I mean, the bottom line is we'll be adding these scripts to the video when Jeff posts, but it really is breaking the ice, realizing you're calling into someone else's space, and if they don't understand what's in it for them, then you're going to end up with some pushback. It's odd you brought up Aaron Kin earlier when you were talking. I actually talked to Aaron about this subject, and he's predominantly a listing agent. He likes to think of himself as a listing agent. And the bottom line to it is this: if you know people that are listing agents, they'd love for you to boost their properties. But it has to sound like you're going to boost their properties, and you know what you're doing, and you sound credible. But outside of that, it's just a general conversation, and you'll be much better with the third one than you are with the first one. You can either lead with the house. Hey, I noticed your house on Collier. You got a contract on it yet? You're doing any open houses? And they say, well, whatever. You say, man, I love doing open houses. I'd love to do one for you. If I could boost it and get it sold for you, that'd be great. Definitely will get some more traffic. It's these kind of conversations that work. And again, like Shaune said, you don't need to call EXP agents. Other agents will let you do it once you hone your communication. So Shaune, great job. Back to you. Thank
you, Eric. The next thing I want to do is talk about scheduling a time. So I'm going to quickly share my screen again on this. I'm telling you, I don't know why people don't think about, kind of looking at other open houses when I want to schedule mine, right? That's the number one draw. So I'm over here. I came back. Instead of doing a traditional search, I'm doing an open house search. I don't know if y'all can see it, but you should be able to search by open houses through your MLS back office. So we get in, and then it's looking for a date. So I'll just pick this Saturday. Hit OK. I have 71 already scheduled. It's only Tuesday. Okay. So we got we got time. Normally you're going to be looking about Wednesday or Thursday to find those times. But here's all the open houses scheduled. So if I have a particular area that, I live here in Flower Mound, there's one over here that's scheduled 1 to 3 on Saturday, and it's a $2.2 million listing. But if that house is listed 1 to 3 on Saturday, then, I like to find where I might have a few houses in that area. Open houses draw attraction buyers, right? I want to have some type of overlap between different open houses that are going on, because buyers that look there are going to look at yours. As long as within, we're 10% in price, right? We got to be reasonably, close or somewhat in the same ballpark of or vicinity. They'll catch it. You got, a number of open houses already scheduled in this area. Again, I'm going to look at stuff that I want to be in that range. So when people are out there looking, they're not going to go back home and then come back out. They may not. I like to make it easy and efficient. So the number one way to schedule our open house is to go look at what time other open houses are scheduled. I'd give you the magic number, 12 to 2 every Saturday is the highest probability. But beyond that, if I had nothing for sale, then I'd pick a time. And honestly, I'd probably do a time that's more convenient for me. That's me. But the best way to start is looking at when other people are scheduling them. Consider the weather, right? So I got ice storm and snowstorms coming. You guys have weather that does impact you, especially now. So if we knew that the storm was coming Thursday, Friday into Saturday, then I would probably want to wait until Sunday to host it. Okay. Rain is a big deterrent for people coming out. They don't want to get out in the rain and come look at your open house. Make sure we take a look at the weather in addition to looking at other houses that are scheduled. Covered that. Don't schedule during major sport events. If when America's team is on, we don't schedule open houses. we actually don't schedule anything. No, I'm just kidding. You know, anytime we do open houses, if you got a World Series, right, or your local team is really good and they're involved in something, probably try to avoid that. Most of the time, basketball's at night. That's not a big deal here, but football is a big deal. I mean, people will not show up when you got Cowboys going. I mean, that's, you know, we've seen that, you know, over and over again. And then another good option people forget about is Fridays. Fridays 4 to 8. People get off work. They need a house. They want to be first in that weekend to get in there and take a look, right? They jump in on Friday and they're looking. They may make offers before the weekend starts. You know, it's a great way to stimulate some of the active buyers. They may already have agents, but it's just a good way to expose and get that window. They get off work, they run in, they take a look at your house. It's obviously better. Like right now, it gets dark real early. That's another thing to be thinking about. So you're not going to get a big window right now, but in the fall, you have a longer window where it's dark later. It makes it a little easier. So keep in mind, if you do an evening, you want it to try to be as daylight as much as possible. It's obviously safer as well. Okay, so let's talk about 1 to 3 days prior. So now we're going to do a little bit of promotional things and things to be thinking about. I don't know if you know it, but Zillow is still trying to move into a role where they have live interactive transfer information on MLS. They are not there yet. I think a lot of their stuff is a day or two behind when they post. That's important to know because whether we like it or not, Zillow is still one of the absolute highest volume site of traffic out there. And you're going to want to give your promotions on Zillow, especially if you do a rent property. Zillow absolutely owns the rental market. I know I own several properties, and if I want to rent them out, I pay Zillow because you got to pay them now to post them. I pay them and I get it promoted. They give me 10, 15 applications every rent property. So Zillow is a really good source. You know, Realtor.com used to be a great source for all this stuff. Man, Zillow smokes it, at least as far as traffic. So make sure we get it 2 days in advance if we're going to promote it. And you can promote it through the MLS. It just takes a couple of days to feed. Just keep that in mind. It does that here. I assume it probably does that in a lot of your areas as well. You can manually override it by logging into your Zillow and entering it. It's a little bit redundant, but that is something to keep in mind. Sign up for list reports. Anyone have list reports or used it before? Lender partners buy that stuff for you, and then they partner with you. Anyone use list reports? I don't know if you'll have it in your markets. It is a tool, very sharp flyers. You can create flyers from it. You print them directly to it. It has your lender partner and you can even have it where it just has you without the lender partner. You know, EXP's come out with their version. That's actually really sharp too. So we have one as well. I think in KV Core, I don't think it costs anything. It only costs if you buy, have it, you know, print out professional copies or something. I think there's a way you can buy through there. But if you don't have anything, the best flyers that I've seen out there, list report is free for the agent. It's a really good option. Invite your lender partner to join you. You know, I've done, you know, I used to coach this early on. Like if you have a big open house coming up and you've got a lender you want to work with, a lot of them will sit on the open houses because they take applications from every person that comes in if they can. You know, it's a free opportunity for them. Lender partners are really good, especially if it's real busy. They can help kind of, you know, parse the influx of people coming in. They can't really promote or show the home, but they can give some high level thinking and thoughts and then talk a little bit about the approval process and maybe something that they can do specifically on this house to help the buyer. Lender partners can really help with the volume. I've had great success having lender partners out there. Share your listings on your own Facebook business page. You should absolutely do this, right? This is easy promotion. I know a lot of you have agent friends. You see them post all the time, these type of things. That's not for us, for the agents. It's for the general population, knowing that we are doing real estate related things. We are doing an open house. It's kind of a subtle reminder that, hey, we're available. We're doing an open house over here. If you have real estate needs, I'm in the business. There are ways to do that. You can do Facebook boosts. 10, 30 bucks. I mean, that's the only place on all of this that we're talking about money, and then maybe buying a few things for the open house. It's not a lot of money. Generally, I get I'm a pretty good fan of KV Cores, because we all have KV Core doing the Property Boost open house option. It's pretty inexpensive, and they do all the algorithms for you. They're only going to really target people that are in that market to be buying homes and things like that. They do all that back office stuff for you. I used to have to like finite control the population, identify buyers in certain income price ranges, because I know that's about the type of home they can afford. Now, Facebook doesn't let you do any of that anymore. So the Facebook Boost Property Boost campaign through KV Core is a really good option, and it's pretty low cost. Okay, I think they have a $30 and a $50 option or something. You will get 15, 20, 30 leads out of it. Hopefully you get one or two that you can actually have an ongoing conversation with. But for that price, an extra promotion for you on your behalf is brilliant. Make sure we get directional signs. I would recommend you do it the day before. Obviously check with the city. A lot of cities have ordinances on when you're allowed to do things like that, but open house Saturday, 12 to 2. And it's, and I'll tell you one tip. I don't have any open house signs here, but they have the space where the directional arrow is. I put white tape over it, and then I write with a black erasable marker. So that way, Saturday, 3 to 5 next time, right? So I can start changing it every time. Directional signs, do that the day before. That's an instant guarantee you're going to have some traffic flowing through if you could get that promoted a day in advance. Have 2 or 3 other houses that are ready. So these are things that a lot of times you don't think about. So when people come, if you knew that the person coming to the home is probably not going to buy that home, why not have 2 or 3 competing offers or options for them readily available? Like, know enough about the market that this is a 3-bedroom home for $15,000 more. I know there's a 4-bedroom home. Have that ready. I tell you, when I was in the heat of all this, because I have an aggressive personality, I would schedule mine. Let's say my open house is 12 to 2. I would schedule 2 to 3, the other 2 competing houses. And I plan on taking at least 2 or 3 of those buyers that come to my house to that house. That's how you create instant value. I mean, that's a little bit kind of more advanced, but that's the way I'm forward thinking. Like, we're going to sell a house, and I'm going to sell you a house that fits what you need. We're going to do it. And I'm going to give you some options to already do it and look at it up front. Be the local expert. Always think about 2 or 3 selling features in the area. Dallas-Fort Worth is a huge area. I can come up with things for pretty much any area here why you'd want to live in those areas. I certainly know a lot of reasons why you wouldn't want to live in some of the areas, but I probably wouldn't be doing open houses in those areas. So if it's an area you like or you're accustomed to, you probably can think of 2 or 3 things right off the top of your head. It can be proximity to shops. It can be proximity to airport. They're usually really hot. Probably the most valuable things people think about and directly impacts home values, especially here in Texas, are the school districts, right? That's, schools drive values more than anything else I can think of. If you're in a bad school district, you appreciate 1 to 3%. If you're a good school district, you appreciate 7 to 10%. I mean, that's just how it is. And whether we like it or not, schools are always going to be that driving factor. So keep that in mind. Covered all that. Okay, 30 minutes before the open house. Visit all adjacent homes and invite them for a viewing. So show up 30 minutes before, and I've done this. I've even done it where I would knock on all the neighbors' doors, invite them. Okay, keep in mind, this isn't a solicitation. This is, hey, you live in the area, you picked to live here for a reason. I know people that would love to live where you live. Why don't you take a look at an available home right now, right? It's kind of like a service to them. It's got to be about mindset, right? I'm not over here trying to sell them the house because they're probably not going to buy it, but they know people that will, and they moved there for a reason. So they should have some type of interest in knowing what other homes in their neighborhood, and they're going to be nosy, right? All people seem to have some level of nosiness to know kind of what's going on over at that house. So they're going to be inclined to come, so knock on all their doors. As many as you can kind of knock out, and then say, hey, I'm doing an open house for you. If you've got a few moments, take a look, welcome some feedback, and I really love your neighborhood. Whatever you can do, kind of build that rapport with them. And sometimes it's always nice, do you know of anyone that would be interested in seeing this home? That's always a good prompting question, right? Turn on lights, open blinds, attempt to create an inviting space. We want light, we want brightness, we want it to be inviting. Not a bad idea to have a broom and a dustpan, maybe a pack of wipes or something, just as a subtle cleanup to give us the best appearance we can. Some Lysol, smell kills, right? You got smokers or pets or things like that. You guys know, you go into a house that has a pungent smell, it's an immediate turn off, and it's really hard to overcome that to sell the home. Get a pack of those 8, I heard they're not selling them anymore. It's a little 8-ounce bottles of water, because normally they're the 12.9s. If you can get the 8-ounce, they're super cheap. People will take them because they know it's just a small little bottle of water. It's a nice offering. If you give them a big bottle, they're like, man, I don't need that. But a small bottle, most of the time they'll take it, no problem. And it's a good gesture. And then any type of bite-sized treats, right? Mini chocolate things like that. It's not too much. It's just enough. It's a taste, and it's in a wrapper. I mean, those are super easy things, not expensive. Recommend in a ice cooler. If you do the water, might as well go ahead and make it cool for them. That would be a big value add, just to make sure we've taken care of them. Okay, during the open house, so be sure to represent the seller, highlighting the selling features of the home. When people come in, we're obviously not going to stay on top of them, stalking them everywhere they go. The objective is, hey, thanks for coming by. My favorite icebreaker when people come in is, what brings you by? How'd you find us? Right? That's an easy icebreaker. Everyone has a reason they came, and it could have been Zillow, it could have been I saw the sign. Always like to start there, and it creates a little bit of dialogue. Sometimes it might even give you a glimpse into motivation. They might even bring up, yeah, we're looking, we're going to be buying the next couple of months. We want to make sure we at least highlight the selling features of the home, pick out the top 3. I just want to make sure I tell you this, and this. Feel free to have a look around. Okay. There is a KV Core Open House app. I don't know if you guys have used that. The value add on that is you can put it on a tablet, and it also goes straight to your KV Core system. And when you do it, you can also set it up to hashtag at the same time. So when it gets pumped in, open house, Flower Mound, Texas, or however you want to hashtag. And then you can pull all Flower Mound open house at the same time in KV Core. You've got 30 names in there. Hit them all. Hey, by the way, I just got this Flower Mound home that's available now. Let me know when you can take a look. I mean, it's an easy way to start creating this connection back to them. Obviously encourage them to take a look. We're not attacking them. I given some good questions. So I talked about, how did you find the home? That's a great icebreaker. Here's some other things, just to be asking as they're kind of going through. I like to prompt them, and if they give you short answers and they're not interested in talking, it is what it is. But sometimes you can ask some questions that can kind of open up and create some dialogue. What brings you to the home? How long have you been looking? How soon do you want to move? What do you like or don't like about this house? And if you found a home today that met your needs, what would you do? These are prompting questions to create some type of motivation, evaluation. I want to know where they're at. Our main objective is to collect specific information, allows you to target the right home that you have, and then you have what they're looking for. I leave people when, one of the reasons why I have so much success in closing is that I'm going to solve a problem for you, right? So you tell me some of your motivation, what are you looking for? I'm going to use this house as a talking catalyst to start building some type of profile with you. And then I'm going to teach a technique that I use based on that, on how I really have a strong connection with anyone that comes in. I'll share that in a little bit. So what happens when they say, I already have an agent, right? I tell you, probably 30% of the people coming in, I feel like that's what they're going to say. It's almost like I'm at a store trying on clothes or something, and every 3 minutes, some salesperson comes up. Hey, can I help? Can I help? I think it's a little bit of that, like, hey, let me just do what I want to do, and then I'll let you know, right? I think there's a little bit of that, why they might say that. I'm I'm going to tell you a little secret that you may not know. 95% chance they do not have a buyer rep agreement in place with an agent. Okay. But they're going to tell you I have an agent. And it's one of, I wouldn't necessarily just say ignorance, but it's they don't understand how agency works. And we all know agents, right? I mean, before you were an agent, you knew real estate agents. So it's an easy thing to go to kind of limit any type of commitment at this point. You know, and I understand, you know, you don't know me anything outside of an open house. It would be difficult for you to say, yeah, I'll sign a buyer rep and go sell me a house, you know, tomorrow. So there's got to be this kind of informal, let's find a way that we can connect without making them feel uncomfortable about it. I have an agent is an easy way to create that difference. Hey, you know, I sometimes will respond, you know, no problem. You know, I think it's a really smart thing to have someone on your side with buying a home, right? So we're going to have some type of agreement. And then I move past that and I say, hey, what area are you looking in? I may actually have some homes that would really fit what you're looking for. I don't care that they have an agent. We all know agents, but if I can solve their problem being I need to find a home, then that relationship isn't quite as strong because they have a problem that needs to be solved more than they have an agent. And there's just a way that you can make this transfer. I do it all the time. My thinking is I'm going to be your best source of opportunity to solve this problem. I don't care who else you're talking to. I'm going to solve the problem. And, you know, I think if you can kind of create that, it will help overcome a lot of this. You know, I've already got an agent, things like that. It works for me. Some of you will take some time kind of practicing and building that confidence and knowing that you can do it. You're going to offer what they need. We're going to be able to solve any concerns that they have. But I'm telling you, 95% of the time, they do not have a buyer rep in place. In TREC, which is Texas, you can't engage in a conversation and trying to convince an agent to terminate their prior buyer rep agreement, right? If they have a buyer rep agreement, then it's going to be hands-off. Then we're going to talk about the house. We're going to sell it from the seller's point of view. But if they don't have one, which they probably don't, then it's fair game. Whoever can solve their problem gets the deal. Any questions on that? I know that's something that does come up, and you guys can interact. I don't mind interjections, question and answers. It isn't going to take
Shaune.
Yeah, go for it, Manny.
Finishing off on what you just said, I just went under contract on a new build with a young lady from California who said she had an agent, and I used the same. I don't call it a script because I just do it naturally, but I just specifically told her that, okay, so you're interested in finding a house where? And she told me where. I specifically told her, you mind if I send you some listings that are available in that area? And, you know, small talk led to this and that. And I described the dynamics of the market. And next thing, we're looking at new construction homes and we're under contract.
You know, I think the way, that's great. It's exact example, Manny. I appreciate that. You know, I think about what does it cost me to send them some houses, right? I mean, what's it cost me? You know, or what's it cost me to ask for, you know, give them some other things. And I'll do this for a few weeks. I mean, until they get nothing from them, or they're not responding. You know, I'm looking for a tap out. That's an old slogan that we used to use way back when I had my own brokerage. I had an agent used to always say that. A tap out means like either I'm out, don't call me, or I'm not going to buy for a while, just something, you know, give me some type of response. I usually will press until I get there. But again, I have a more aggressive personality, you know, because I'm going to solve your problem unless you just don't want me to solve your problem. And I'm okay with that. I'll move on to the next. There's plenty of people out there with problems to solve. All right, here's one of my golden nuggets. This is something that I did when I was doing open house a few years ago. So when you get a sense that they're ready to go, right? They're active, they're saying the right things, they're wanting to do something. This right here will give you a high probability of an ongoing connection relationship, and they're going to give you permission to do it. And I'm going to show you how we do this, right? I ask, would it be okay if I send all of the information on this home to you that I may have missed, and I want to send that in a text. Would that be okay with you? If they're engaged and they're motivated, that is harmless, right? But that creates an open opportunity for me to have a ongoing text chain with them. Now, even better than that, I'll do the next step. I'll enter their phone number while I'm talking to them. Open up a text, enter their phone number. And then I say, what specifically are you looking for so I can review my inventory for upcoming listings? And then while you're talking to them, 4-bedroom, this school district, 2 living areas, I'm typing it, and then I'm going to type in their full contact name and email, and then I'm going to send it back to them. It sounds kind of like, why would you send your own information back to them? And then I ask, is there anything that I got wrong with this information? And if you do this, they will take your phone calls and they will respond to you through text. They'll at least tell you they're not interested instead of ignoring you, right? Because it's kind of like, I use the same strategy if I'm trying to make a connection between, let's say, my lender partner and this person. I'll do an open text with them and the lender partner, because now it takes all the rules off. Everybody can talk to each other. Group text is a magic trick to do there. So on here, I'm going to text the information they have. What are your specific things you're looking for? And then I'm going to text it back to them. When you say it, it almost sounds like it doesn't seem like it. Man, it works like incredible. And I did this at one open house with like 5 different people, and we closed like 6 transactions because 2 of them had houses to sell, you know, and they just, I would answer every step, next step. Didn't have to go call anyone else. You know, I was ahead of them. I don't use open house apps, because if I have someone ready to go, I use this. That's just the way I do things. That's the golden tip. You can decide if y'all want to use it. You can try to use the app for everyone and then do this in addition. But I'm telling you, if you can do this and have that connection with them through text, it's a free permission to engage them. Any questions on that?
I have a quick question. So how does that work? So how do you approach like trying to determine if they have a buyer's rep agreement already signed with someone? So, and I guess the second part of the question is, if they do have a buyer's rep signed with someone, are we still allowed to text them and send them properties?
No, you're not. The second is no. The first one is real easy. I assume they don't have one until they tell me they do.
Okay.
They don't have one. I'm telling you, 95% of the people you're going to run into an open house don't have one. They don't. They just know an agent. I have an agent. And I don't know if I'm going to start sitting properties and we're engaging at some point, you know, okay. I also think about, like, I think everyone should have a free ride in the beginning. Like, let's meet at a house. Let's look at some things. Let's open up a conversation. Let's talk. When they want to start pushing further, great. Let me get that pre-approval letter. And then let's talk about what a buyer rep agreement looks like and how this works. I give them something to show value. And now I don't have to prove that I add value because they've seen it. It's whether they want to work with me or not at that point. That's something that I do, you know, same thing here. They can tell me they have an agent. You know, they just don't have buyer rep agreements. I mean, they just don't. They don't know how it works. They don't know why they need it. That's what we're here to do, to educate them. And if they do, then hands off. You know, Lisa, just hands off. Then no problem. I want to explain how this works. You have a contract agreement with another buyer agent, and they are going to work on your behalf to take care of your needs, you know, which is what I'm offering to do. But if you do have that agreement with them, then we cannot talk. We can't discuss anything specifically about it anymore. I mean, that's kind of where that goes. All right, follow
Real
up.
quick, Shaune, if I could just say again, Lisa, because I think that you're so right. I mean, 95%, I would agree with that. 95% they don't. They just don't know. They know an agent, whatever, but you know, without really, again, who's gonna win them over? It's the agent that's providing the most value, answering the most questions, in touch, available. You know, how many agents do you call and you get their voicemail, and 2 days later they haven't called you back? I mean, there's so much out there like that. If you can be the one that's just in there, you know, like, it'll happen. And you know, I've won so many people over like that. I've got an agent, but then, well, here, let me send you some things or whatever. And They just don't. They haven't signed anything. Most people haven't. I mean, you're so right there, Shaune.
Yeah, the time and energy it takes to send them a listing or engage them or ask them questions, it just doesn't cost anything. It's like, why not?
Yeah.
I don't care if they have an agent. I'm going to send you some stuff. I'm going to give the value add. And in the moment that I'm connecting with you and that other agent is not, oh, by the way, I've got this house I'm interested in, and they haven't heard back from the other agent, and I provide the information. Bam. Until they show me or provide me or say that they've got a buyer rep agreement, most of the time that I'll give you the simple thing to be thinking. If they have a signed agreement with somebody else, they're going to let you know. I mean, if they don't, they probably don't. You know, I mean, my neighbor did this to me, right? I mean, it's crazy. I set them up. I got them to cash out, refi their home. I work with a lot of investors. You know, I do a lot of rental properties. That's part of why I sell so many real estate, because I get a lot of repeat business through those people. But I was coaching them. I got them to refinance their house. They took a big chunk of cash out of their house. And then the exact moment that happened, they had a life event happen, and they ended up having to go buy a house. So they went and looked at open houses, and I did not have a buyer rep agreement with them. After I just coached them to refi their house, let's go buy some rental property. They had a life event. They go to an open house and sign a buyer rep agreement on the spot. And then she calls me later because I'm following up with her. And I said, hey, there's a house in our neighborhood. You want to check it out? And she said, well, yeah, we could do that. But, you know, I think we signed a buyer rep with someone. I was like, you did what? After I just did all this, I mean, it happens, right? Hands off. You know, everything that I coached her to set her up, you know, and they bought a new build 1 week later, $900,000 house with this other buyer. I mean, it happens, you know, it just happens. It's frustrating, but it happens. So at the end of the open house, we're going to text property info from list reports, or you can use the KV Core product that works. They both work fine, and they're really easy. We're going to make sure everybody gets that information on the house. I would do the end of the day or the next day. I like to kind of spread it out, so I'm kind of staying warm, but not blasting them all at once, because kind of like it comes and goes. When they get a break to think about it, and then they start reading about it later, it's kind of like re-energizes. Oh yeah, we did see that house. And I'm trying to get them to give me responses, right? That's what we're trying to do. And then the last thing, can I ask for any feedback that we can provide to the sellers, or anything about the home you would change it, that if you changed, you would buy it? That's a good prompting question. If I have that criteria met on another home, are you available later to go see it, or whatever? I mean, these are some prompting questions. And then be sure they're hashtagged and included in your ongoing drip campaigns. So that's what I have for open houses. We got 5 minutes left. I'm available if you guys have questions or anything.
That's awesome. Marcy, you have a question? You have your hand up?
Yeah, with the crazy market, people are just flooding into these open houses. So my question is, how do you handle a house full of people looking around? How do you grab all their, you know, really get to touch them and have these good conversations? Do you have multiple agents helping you?
No, you just get a ticket machine, and they take tickets to have a chance to talk to you because you're so glorious. No, I'm kidding. You don't have to do that. I would get help. Like if you know that you're going to have 30 people in 2 hours, get a lender partner. They do not compete with you.
Mm-hmm.
Lender partners are good to have. They have the same interest that you have. They take on one part, you take on the other part. They're the first one I would always pack my open house with. The second one is agent partners. If you are in a team, it's good to team, because you guys can kind of swap and connect and refer each other and cover each other, or find another agent that you want to do it with. Those are easy ways to divide and conquer. That way we don't miss anyone.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. What else you got?
It's great stuff here, guys. Is that KV Core? Is that the open house app? I'm assuming it's in the back office, KV Core, like under Marketplace or something? Is
Yeah.
it? Okay.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
it's free as far as I know. I don't think there's any cost to it.
Okay.
Because it's just they have the ability. I think you can even custom, you know, the questions and stuff, and it'll populate directly into the KV Core app, right? And it'll even attach hashtags if you want it to.
Nice.
So you can really have an easy follow-up campaign built in with it.
Okay. I think one of the key things I heard, and I learned this too, like have another list of homes ready to give them. Similar things, like again, that just value, you know. I've even taken my laptop there, you know, and connected to the Wi-Fi in the house, and just, you know, even set people up on searches, you know, right there. Yeah, well, you know, you get this sometimes too. Well, you know, I'm already getting lists of homes from like 3 or 4 agents, and you know, like, so I really don't want another search. So then I want to create doubt in their mind, because at that point, they're probably not signed with anybody. Again, I'm just assuming, well, I have no idea what the other agents are sending you. Just so you know, our search includes, corporate sales, divorce sales, short sales, foreclosures, all these other things. Now, again, chances are they're getting the same thing. I just want to start getting my foot in the door.
Yeah.
And that hasn't been explained that with this MLS search that I'm going to set up. It's going to include all this stuff, whatever. And again, I want to just at least be able to send them. Now I can start adding more value than these other agents with different things we're doing. Next thing you know, they're calling me and we're going out looking at homes. You know what I mean? And signing up. So what are some things, any other questions, guys, or things you got out of this? Here's a way to pick up more business without question. If you're kind of down right now and trying to figure out like, man, I just need some more stuff going, and you can pick up more listings. We're coming into that season where we're going to see more and more listings coming on the market every month. Between now and July, there'll be more homes coming on the market. We're coming into that season, and you can pick up listings by going to, pick up other people's open houses, other people's listings to do an open house, and then pick up more listings. These people are coming to look. They're getting ready to put their house on the market. If you aggressively work this, you could do this for 4 Saturdays and you're going to have more buyers and sellers for sure. If you do it right, a lot of good stuff here.
I do. I really enjoyed the training, by the way. And I am a huge fan of doing open houses, especially in this market, because it does build goodwill and relationships with other realtors. I can't tell you how many times I've done open houses and then the agents called me and said, hey, we're doing an offer, because they need to be out showing. So they're sending whoever they can't show that day to the open houses, and it works and it helps. So those are my future frontline, I guess you would call it, folks. So that, I think that's a great tool and a great way to look at it. One of the things that I did struggle with in my open houses was capturing correct information from the people that visited the open house. I used to have them do the sign-in sheet and all that. So I absolutely love the text message. That way you get that information, it's correct, and you have instant contact with them, because it's just kind of like anything else. You have them write it down and they give you bad information. So then you don't get to talk to them anymore.
Yeah,
so,
that text trick, I make sure, did you get it?
Right. Yeah. And I love that. I'm definitely going to be using that in the future.
Yeah, because they're right there. Like, oh yeah, I got it. You hear it, right? Because it'll buzz or something. That's how you know you got it right. At least the phone number's right.